Tales, fables, and sounds of the Nigerian stories.
He saluted the military commander.
Greetings from our king. All right then. Onward, soldiers!
Afonja ordered.
My Nigerian Folktales.
They were getting closer to the hills where the town was situated when Afonja realized that it was Iwerele, the same town Alaafin Abiodun had told him about in one of their discussions. The king had even made him take an oath never to attack his grandmother's hometown because a curse had been placed by Alaafin Ajagbo on anyone who dares to besiege or even attack Iwerele town. That person is doomed to die a horrible death. It was at this point that Afonja perceived that the king's intent was to kill him. He exclaimed, full of rage.
What have I done to deserve this?
Are, what is the matter, Are?
Ashadu!
Shouted Afonja at the palace guard who brought him to the place.
Karoleo.
He replied, confused.
So the king wants me dead and you have joined in this conspiracy against me?
Ha! No! Why would I conspire against you, sire?
And in that instant, he ordered one of his men to eliminate Ashadu.
What do we do now, Are?
We go back to Oyo because I have a message for the king.
On getting to Oyoile, he liaised with the Oyomesi in calling for the rejection of the king. In those days, when a king is rejected, he is expected to commit suicide. Therefore, when the Bashorun gave Alaafin Aole an empty calabash, he knew his time as the king of Oyo was up. But before he committed the ritual of suicide, he placed a curse on the Yoruba race, saying they will never be united as they will be scattered forever. He was a cursing king, and in a way, the curse from the attempted attack on Iwerele, for whatever motive he had at first, seemed to have started its effects on him. For either he was killed by Afonja or he killed himself, his life was doomed to end shortly. After the death of Alaafin Aole, Kakanfo Afonja returned to his hometown, Ilorin. Still angered as he felt betrayed by the late king's disposition towards him, on getting home, he declared that Ilorin will no longer pledge allegiance to the Oyo Empire, and so he became the sole power in Ilorin and the first head of this town who didn't pay homage to Oyo's sovereignty. By this time, many of the Yorubas in Ilorin had started converting to Muslims. It is also important to note that at that time, there were other tribes that were settled in Ilorin apart from the Yorubas because of Ilorin's geographic location. For instance, there were the Hausas who were referred to as the Gambaris. There were settlers from Nupe who were referred to as the Tapas, and very few Fulanis who were referred to as the Jamas. Moreover, Afonja offered freedom to many Hausa slaves who escaped from their wicked masters in Oyo, and a lot of them voluntarily joined Afonja's army. Notwithstanding, Ilorin town was predominantly populated by the Yorubas. One day, one of Afonja's friends by the name Sholagberu introduced a Fulani Muslim cleric to Afonja, a man whose name was Alimi.
Having studied the kind of person you are, I know you'll need stronger men in your army.
Alimi informed Afonja, even as Sholagberu agreed with him. Although his second in command, Ologolo, warned him against it, soon more and more of Afonja's men were replaced with Alimi's men, who were all Muslim Fulanis. Indeed, When they went for wars, they came back victorious. Therefore, Afonja's fame continued to grow. Howbeit, he remained a pagan. He became so proud and intoxicated with power that he couldn't see the danger he was beginning to put his people in. He welcomed more Fulanis and their families. An idle mind, they say, is the devil's workshop, which was why at a time when Afonja didn't go to war, his Jamas became raiders, stealing people's properties and perpetuating all manner of evil to the people of Ilorin. And when he was informed of their acts, Afonja tried to caution the Jamas who now populated his army, but they had gone out of his control for two main reasons. First was that he remained a pagan and never converted into a Muslim, which made him fall out of favor with them. The second was language barrier. Besides these two reasons, there was a jihad from the north at that time, and Afonja soon realized that he had little or no control over his army.
I was seriously warned against replacing all my men a while ago. A stubborn fly. A stubborn fly. And now I am doomed at the hands of these Fulanis.
Afonja thought to himself. But sadly, it was already too late. He gathered what was left of his army and tried to fight off the Jamas, but he was defeated. However, before he was murdered, he succeeded in killing Alimi, the one he believed had betrayed him. Afonja was killed with arrows fired at him while he was standing on his feet. Moreover, before his last breath, he was heard saying that with his blood being shed on that day, he was cancelling the curse placed on the Yoruba race by Alaafin Awule. After Afonja was confirmed dead, Abdulsalam, the son of Alimi, the Muslim Fulani cleric, declared himself the emir of Ilorin and pledged allegiance to the Sokoto Caliphate. This is why they have an emir as ruler in Ilorin till date. The end.
Àrọ́bá ní bàbá ìtàn. Bọ́mọdé ò bá tàn, á bá àrọ́bá.
My Nigerian Folktales.